Hey everyone, welcome back to Top 10 Amazing Facts. Today we're going on a journey, not just through a story, but into one of the most powerful parables ever told. It's the parable of the prodigal son, straight from the lips of Jesus in Luke chapter 15. You've probably heard the basics before. A rebellious son squanders his wealth and then comes home to a forgiving father. But what if I told you this story is deeper than most people realize? Here are 10 amazing facts about the prodigal son that will give you a whole new perspective. Fact number 10. The word prodigal doesn't mean what you think. Let's start with the word prodigal. People often think it means lost because the story is about a lost son. But in truth, prodigal means recklessly wasteful or extravagant, especially with money. The son isn't just lost, he throws away everything, living carelessly with no thought for the future. The title isn't just describing his location, it's describing his lifestyle. And this extravagance isn't just about finances, it's symbolic of how people waste their time, talents, and lives when separated from God. Fact number 9. His inheritance request was deeply offensive. In biblical times, inheritance was something passed on after the father's death. So when the younger son asks for his share early, he's essentially saying, "I don't care if you live or die. Just give me my money now." That's a shocking level of dishonor in a patriarchal society where family loyalty and respect for elders were sacred. And according to Jewish law, the older son got a double portion. So the younger son would only receive 1/3, but even that was granted at the father's mercy, not demand. This was more than just a bad decision, it was a total break from his identity and heritage. Fact number 8. A far country symbolizes spiritual distance. When Jesus says the son journeyed to a far country, that wasn't just a geographical move, it was a spiritual metaphor. He left not just his father's house, but everything it represented: love, provision, protection, and purpose. The far country represents what life looks like without God, chasing temporary pleasures, relying on yourself, and ultimately ending up empty. Many people are in that far country today, not physically far from home, but spiritually far from truth. Fact number 7. Feeding pigs was rock bottom for a Jew. Once the money ran out, famine hit the land. Desperate and hungry, the son took the only job he could find, feeding pigs. But for a Jewish audience, this is unthinkable. Pigs were considered ceremonially unclean in the law of Moses, as said in Leviticus 11, and to work with them meant total defilement. Worse still, he envied the pig's food. He was so hungry that even slop started to look good. This wasn't just physical poverty, it was spiritual humiliation. He had fallen as far as a Jewish man could fall. Fact number 6. His awakening was quiet but profound. The moment of change comes in a short but powerful phrase: he came to himself. That means he snapped out of his delusion. He recognized that his life, the one he thought he wanted, had led him to misery. This is the biblical definition of repentance, a change of mind that leads to a change in direction. He didn't just regret his actions, he turned toward home, and not with a sense of entitlement, but with humility. He prepared a speech, ready to say, "I'm not worthy to be your son. Make me one of your hired servants." Fact number 5. The father was watching and waiting. Here's one of the most beautiful details in the whole story. The father saw the son while he was still a long way off. That means he wasn't busy with business. He wasn't asleep. He was watching the road day after day, hoping his son might come back. This is a picture of God's heart toward those who stray. He doesn't give up. He doesn't close the door. He waits, patiently, expectantly. Love doesn't move on, it looks toward the horizon, ready to forgive. Fact number 4. The father running was a cultural shock. In that culture, elderly men did not run. It was seen as undignified. Running meant hiking up your robe and exposing your legs, something no self-respecting Jewish man would do. And yet, when the father sees his son, he sprints to meet him. Why? Because love doesn't care about appearances. Love breaks tradition. Love moves fast. This detail would have shocked Jesus' listeners. It was a bold way of showing that God rushes toward the repentant, not away from them. Fact number 3. The robe, ring, and shoes meant full restoration. The father didn't just welcome the son, he restored him. Each item he gave had deep meaning. The robe meant honor and dignity, a covering of shame. The ring symbolized family authority, the power to sign and seal in the father's name. The sandals meant freedom. Only sons wore shoes, servants went barefoot. This wasn't probation, it was instant restoration. The son came home expecting to be a servant, but the father reminded him he was still a son. Fact number 2. The older brother was lost too. Many forget about the older brother, but he's a crucial part of the story. He stayed home, followed the rules, and worked hard. But when his brother came back, he was furious. He couldn't celebrate. Why? Because he didn't understand grace. He thought his father's love had to be earned. His bitterness revealed his own spiritual pride. He saw himself as a servant, not a son. Jesus included him to challenge the Pharisees, the religious leaders who looked down on sinners. It's a reminder that you can be in the house of God, but still have a hard heart. Fact number 1. The parable is really about the father. Here's the biggest surprise. This story isn't mainly about the rebellious son, it's about the radical love of the father. From start to finish, the focus is on how the father responds. He gives generously, waits patiently, runs compassionately, and restores fully. Jesus told this story to show what God is really like, not a cold judge, but a loving father who rejoices when the lost return. The real prodigal, the one who gives recklessly, is actually the father, because his love is lavish, undeserved, and overwhelming. Bonus fact, it's the final piece of a lost trilogy. Did you know this parable is the climax of a 3-part story? In Luke 15, Jesus tells 3 parables in a row: the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son. Each story shows something precious being lost, then searched for, then found, and finally followed by celebration. It's a progression from 1 out of 100 sheep to 1 out of 10 coins to 1 out of 2 sons. The value increases and the emotional depth deepens. Jesus wasn't just teaching, he was drawing people back to the heart of God. So the next time you hear about the prodigal son, remember it's not just about rebellion and return. It's about a father who never stops loving, even when we fail. Whether you're far from home or sitting in the pews like the older brother, the message is clear. There's always a way back. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more powerful biblical breakdowns, and comment below. Are you more like the younger son or the older brother?